Nelly Korda's won 5 straight starts. Scottie Scheffler's won 4 of his last 5 starts. Are those stories cutting through to people that you speak to, maybe the casual golf fan, the big-time sports fan, or is it because of the fractious nature of the professional game over the last couple of years that these great storylines are being lost and that people don't care as much as they should?
It's such an interesting question because the golf crowd that I run with, like my friends that I'm playing golf with, they do admire and appreciate Scottie Scheffler, and especially after he won the Masters, I think that cut through to a certain extent. But then you look at the TV ratings, it's clearly down from there. And you sort of talk to people who are more casual, who aren't, playing golf 2 times a week. It doesn't seem like Scheffler would cut through much in that sense. As far as Nelly Korda, I think it's even a little bit tougher, not just because of the differences in viewership in the men's and women's game, but because I don't think it's a big secret that Nelly Korda really doesn't like dealing with the media. And I think, her sister didn't either. And that's their prerogative, and I'm certainly not knocking them for that. But it is an entertainment product, and I think it makes it a little bit harder when you're a bright, shining star who's playing this unbelievable generational golf. Kind of has this really limited profile and prefer to be out of the spotlight. So in general, I think, to your question, whether the fractious nature of the game is hurting things, I think we have to kind of trust TV ratings a little bit in that sense. And I think it is for sure. Scheffler kind of gets knocked. Oh, he's not as charismatic as Tiger Woods. Well, nobody is. And I actually think Scheffler is a pretty charismatic guy, and the way he plays golf is pretty spectacular. So again, on the individual level, I see a lot of appreciation for that. Broadly speaking, I think there is a little bit of kind of like a hollow thud that's not really resonating the way you might hope, especially if you're in our business.
Joel, speaking of people who don't really embrace golf media, Charlie Woods played a US Open qualifier last week, which was covered by almost every outlet out there. And I get that he's putting himself in a public forum by playing in a qualifier for the National Open. But is it all getting a little bit pathetic, the extent to which golf media is chasing a 15-year-old kid for clickbait?
Yeah, I think pathetic is putting it nicely. And I'm with you. I get those who assert that, hey, he's putting himself out there by getting into these events. But I would just counter that no matter where Charlie plays, people pull out their cell phones and upload videos of him to social media. So this kid, he's just going to a more formal setting that, like a U.S. Open qualifier, PGA Tour qualifier. It's just the extension of the nonsense he deals with on a daily basis. To me, it's clear that fans view Charlie as an avatar for Tiger, especially as Tiger has become, more and more removed from the spotlight. And, maybe he will be good, but he's just 15 years old. And for a second, forget how hard it is to be the son of a celebrity, the biggest person in the sport. Just think how hard it is to be a teenager in general, stuck in between these two worlds where no one really takes you seriously. So, yeah, I mean, listen, we'll find out how good he eventually is, but that's for another day. To me, golf is tough enough. Let's not make it tougher on Charlie.
Shane, I want to jump to another story that was making the rounds last week on Rory McIlroy potentially signaling interest in getting back into the board action on the PGA Tour. And leave aside the idea of, is this a popularity contest vote if the board votes him back on? Do you think there are serious governance issues here? Because we're not talking about a sleepy non-profit anymore where you've got great flexibility in terms of how you want to change things up. We're talking about a for-profit entity that has shareholders. So presumably there has to be some kind of governance on whether or not a board director who's leaving can nominate who replaces him. Is there a greater issue here, leaving aside whether or not Rory McIlroy could actually positively impact some kind of settlement in this civil war, but just how the Tour's business should be running in the future versus perhaps how it has been run in the past? Yeah,
there's definitely an issue, but I think what you're getting into a little bit is this sort of passé ethical question of how the bureaucracy should be run, when the de facto reality is the players with the most influence are running the tour anyway, right? I mean, not completely, but they have a huge outsized influence. And so, right, whether Webb Simpson should be allowed technically to nominate his replacement, or whether Rory should be able to get back in, or whether there should be more oversight or a different kind of vote, sort of, the realpolitik of it all is that Rory's a very powerful individual, and whatever method he chooses of exerting his influence, he's going to be successful at it. So I do take your point, but I don't get caught up in the details. If Rory wants to be on the board, he's going to get, put on the board. If he wants to declare himself player emperor, they would probably find a way to let him declare himself player emperor. The mechanisms of it are sort of irrelevant in some ways.
Sounds like the Palace intrigue will continue. Two of the best scribblers for Golf Digest, Shane and Joel. We appreciate your time. We'll speak to you soon.
Thank you,
Thanks, guys.